Good morning. Recently, Stefan Georgi, who's well known as one of the top selling copywriters in the world, made a series of posts and some videos that were pretty controversial because he's very well known as a copywriting educator, coach, and mastermind owner, and for years has been promoting copywriting as a great opportunity for people to have a career that's lucrative financially, gives them a lot of freedom, control of their lives, and means that they can become successful outside of a sort of typical corporate career. And he's done a great job of it. I've bought some of his products and really enjoyed them and found his education to be of a high quality. But Stefan has come out lately and said, hey, you know what? Copywriting isn't such a good opportunity for people anymore if they're starting from the bottom. That there are better opportunities out there. Specifically, he's been talking lately about affiliate marketing, and in particular on the TikTok platform, which from what he's said and from what I've seen from other people and talked to other people who are doing this, is actually a good opportunity and a very timely opportunity that people can take advantage of right now and do very well from. So I got no criticism about any of those things he said, but what I think is kind of interesting is, on a broader sense, is this idea about online freelancing, whether that be marketing, copywriting, coding, design, website building, all of those other skills, email marketing, media buying, is that they're in a position now where all of them, more and more of the functions that people used to do manually are being automated away. Which means that even if there was the same amount of demand for all of the services as before, that there can be more of it can be done by a smaller number of people, and so it's kind of a consolidation going on. And there's an interesting, I think, trend that may be tailing off, is that 2020, 21 during COVID, where so much of physical commerce, in-person commerce shut down. During this time, there was a huge expansion of online business and e-commerce, and people who were in the right position at that time made a lot of money in a very short space. And that trend obviously has tailed off. Now, I'm not suggesting those things are not still growing. E-commerce is still growing year on year. I work with clients in that space. It's growing very, very well. Digital transformation and the movement of offline business to have some kind of an online component is an ongoing long-term trend that's not stopping. But there isn't that huge spike of demand right now that there was 2 years ago. And yeah, as I say, the the number and quality of automation tools at all levels has gotten so much better. It's a lot beyond ChatGPT. The things I've seen recently in some of the masterminds I'm in, where there's automated appointment setting, which doesn't require humans as much as it used to. There's automated customer service. And even just for me as a practitioner, things like I would in the past have had to pay other people to edit videos for me because I didn't have that specific skill and I didn't really feel it was a great investment of my time to learn it. Whereas these days I can take a basic like a copywriting video script for an ad, and I can just open up Descript, which costs me $15 a month, and even if I have just a few tiny snippets of footage, I can use even if I don't have any footage, I can still use Descript's B-roll to create an ad, and maybe in 1 to 2 hours I can create something that's not, it's not professional quality, but it's good enough to test out a new concept for a Facebook ad. And that's available to everybody for $15 a month. So it means that people are not going to spend premium on those services the way they were in the past, or at least the majority of the market, the broad part. At the top end of the market, the people who have more money to spend, bigger businesses who are more interested in saving time than money, they'll always be there. But those, top clients, they go to either top practitioners or they go within their trusted networks. Things like cold outreach methods like cold email, DMing, those stuff, those don't work as well as they used to. I have a friend who runs a cold email agency. For some of his campaigns where they're sending out to segments of 5 and 10,000 people, or 5 and 10,000 companies and different people within those companies, B2B, they're seeing response rates way below 1%, where now 0.5% is considered a respectable campaign in some in some market verticals. And that's just kind of crazy considering what response rates were just a couple of years ago. So all of these things stand against people who are at the lower level and even in the middle of any of these kind of online, for want of a better word, skilled trades. And this means that it's very, very hard for new people entering these markets as practitioners to get a foothold, to be able to have those first, few good months of income coming in where they feel the confidence to potentially quit a 9-to-5 day job or, go all in on their new career. And couple all that with what seems to be kind of softening of demand, macro, especially in the US where most of my clients are, means that people aren't hiring at the rate they were in the past. Things are just a little bit slower. And if you're already in these markets as a practitioner, you may have found that it's, business isn't quite what it was a few months ago. That's what I'm hearing from lots of people I talk to. That's what, hearing from other coaches and marketing program owners and things like that. But the people who don't have problems and the people who still have inbound interest are people who actually have built up the relationships of trust where they're not competing on price, they're not stuck in a crowd of other people looking to get a gig or anything like that. They're getting inbound interest from people who already trust them. And I'm fortunate enough to be someone like that. Yesterday somebody reached out to me, "Hey John, I'm launching a book a couple of months from now. Would you be able to help me with my campaign?" I'm not actually experienced with book launches, and I wrote back, I said, "Hey bro, I'm sorry, I'm not actually really experienced with doing book launches. I more do other kinds of work." And I told him what I typically do. And he said, "I don't care about that. I just think you could help me. Can we have a conversation about it?" Like, yeah. Now, this is not somebody who's a good friend of mine. This is not somebody I've ever actually spoken to. This is somebody who I've maybe sent 2 or 3 DMs back and forth with in Facebook Messenger over the past 6 months or so. But what this guy is somebody who's been reading all the content I put out during the last few months and who I've been engaging on his content and he's been engaging on my content. So we've built up a bit of liking from one another that way. So there's some level of trust there even before we've spoken. And we're going to have a call this week. It may lead to business. It may not. Give another example. I have a client who runs a successful agency who we've been working together on various projects for about 2-3 years. Some of those projects have ended in success. Some of those projects have been failures. But yet he still is hiring me. He came back to me with a new project just last week. Why does he do that? Because there's a whole ocean of practitioners out there, but he doesn't know all of them, and he doesn't know whether they're good or bad at what they do, and more importantly, he doesn't know whether they're going to show up and perform. It's quite scary for a lot of clients to wire money or buy payment with a Stripe link to a practitioner they haven't hired before, or they don't know, they don't have any feel for who they are, and wonder, is this person going to deliver? Is this person just going to ghost me and completely rip me off? Which happens quite a lot. So trust in one sense is actually even more important than competence. Like, I've got people I know in my network who are absolutely brilliant at what they do, but they're maybe a little bit unreliable in terms of how they show up. And because of that, their careers have struggled. Even they have a very high level of competence, they're not able to inspire the trust in potential clients because it's never clear when someone sends them money what version they're going to get. Is it the good version or the bad version? Just collecting my thoughts for a moment. So, with all of that stuff said, there's lots and lots of competition for whatever service you offer, more than ever before. There is definitely a softening demand because of a range of factors, both macroeconomic and technological. And we're in a situation now where the people at the top in every space can have the potential to be more productive than ever before and actually suck up. So it's this kind of same dynamic that seems to be happening in lots of different human markets in recent years, where whether it comes to home ownership and asset ownership, whether it comes to dating, because of dating apps means that, a very small percentage of people get all the attention, whether it comes to social media, and there's a small number of really big celebrities who seem to aggregate all of the followers and traffic on organic. All of these things, all of these phenomena, where there seems to be something that's called a power law in place, that at the very tail end of the distribution, there's a tiny number of people who seem to aggregate and accumulate a lot of the benefits. And typically it's like the middle is getting compressed over time. So what can you do? And what I believe people can do if they're doing business online as a solo practitioner, whether they own an agency, any of those things where it's a person-to-person service business, is to keep doing whatever they're doing in terms of broad strategy, in terms of outreach, in terms of advertising and marketing, but also just to focus on growing their network, on actually having more conversations, like real conversations with new people that are not some automated commenting or automated DMs bullshit that people can see through. Humans are still smart enough where they can smell when they're not talking to a machine, whether they're not talking to another human. And getting away from all that stuff and just focusing on making more real connections. I still, for years now, have talked to, chat with 5 to 10 new people every week, tend to have phone calls with at least 2 new people a week, and try every day to have some kind of interaction, whether that just be a comment or any kind of interaction or a like on social media with somebody new. Like, just talking to more new people and having more interesting conversations inevitably brings more opportunity to your door. That's one thing. The second thing you can do is actually getting more value and from the network of people you've already got. There's a lot of referrals that you're probably not getting from people who already know you and trust you. And the only reason you're not getting for those referrals is maybe you don't know how to ask for them, or you're just not making a priority to actually put that into your schedule to look for that business. But it's out there. There's people who already probably like you, would be happy to help you, but you're just not top of mind right now. Maybe because you haven't been putting enough content out there, so they haven't seen you in a while or heard from you. Maybe they just haven't been chatting to you lately. Maybe you just never asked them and they never thought of it. People are busy. This sort of stuff doesn't really always come to people naturally, so you have to make the ask. And if you just did those 2 things of making an effort to speak to one new person, chat to one new person every day, get on a phone call with 2 new people a week, and ask for a referral every week from somebody who already knows you and trusts you. If you just did those little things, you would see a dramatic change in your financial fortunes within at the least 90 days and maybe between 3 and 6 months. And yet people don't do this. It's all simple stuff. There's no tech required. There's no software needs to be bought. There's no new complex strategy to learn. It's pretty simple methodology. There is some nuance to it, but it's about basically just doing these simple things every day. A lot of people have talked about this for years, a lot of influential people, and yet it seems to be something that people find difficulty taking action on. It seems that anyone who's in the business of fulfilling for clients, once a project is in and they get wrapped up in fulfillment, they forget about marketing themselves and marketing their own services and keeping that going. And then when the project ends and they find themselves having a gap or a shortfall in demand because they haven't kept that up, and doing some kind of daily maintenance to bring more interest to your services is extremely important, no matter how busy you get, because that's always creating your next payday. Whatever's coming to you this month is usually as a result of what you've done 2 months ago. With all that in mind, myself and Matthew Volkwin, who is the founder of the Email Dojo, which is an email marketing mastermind, have launched a new coaching service this month, and we've called it Forever Clients, where we're teaching simple methodologies, daily tactics, and just also doing a little bit of accountability and coaching with people for exactly the things I've been talking about for the last 14 minutes now. So I may have rambled on a bit. If you've hung around this long and this sort of resonates with you and you hear what I'm saying, if you've watched Stefan's videos and you've thought, shit, what am I doing? Don't have enough copywriting clients. Are they going to still be there for you in the future? I believe they can be, but it's a matter of how you conduct yourself. I think you're not going to maintain that longevity just hitting the job boards all the time or doing cold DMs. You're going to have to do more to develop the depth of the relationships with people you already know and to continue to build new long-term valuable relationships with people. And if you like help doing that, that's something, I do know something about. It's something I've trained a lot of people on. It's something I've been talking about and practicing for years now. And if you'd like to join the Forever Clients program with Matthew and myself, it's only $50 a week, which is ridiculously low. If you just get one new client every 6 months out of it, you'd have covered the cost of it very easily. And I guarantee you do this stuff, you'll get a lot more than that. We had people who joined who are booking new business just from executing on the simple things we're telling them to do within a week. And for me personally, every week 2 to 3 new inbound projects come to me that I didn't go looking for. I didn't do any work to get. They've just come to me from the content created, from the conversations I've had, and from the relationships I've built. It's really, really simple. It just requires a little bit of a shift in approach and a little bit of guidance on execution, and you can do this. Forever Clients, we host it on School. We put out one new piece of content every week for our members. We also have a guest coach twice a month, and we do one coaching call a week. So it's not a huge time commitment, really. 1 to 2 hours a week is your total time commitment, which I know everyone's time is at a premium. And yeah, it's very effective, it's very simple, and it's a longevity-based approach. It's not about some new hack that's going to get you some money this month but runs out of steam in 2 or 3 months. It's about something that's like timeless principles that are going back to the dawn of civilization and that will never not exist as long as humans are buying and selling stuff from each other. And it's all there, but most people don't seem to execute on this stuff. If you want to help with that, if it makes sense to you, if you're, like I said, watching Stefan's stuff and thinking, shit, I'm in trouble, if you're hearing similar kinds of discontent in whatever other industries you're in, whether it be copywriting, being a marketer, coding, graphic design, whatever it is, anything that's selling services online, and you're feeling this like, hey, there's an overall decline here, there's something changing, need to shift my approach, could be a good candidate for this. So just reach out, send me a DM, leave a comment below, whatever way you want to reach out. You can get to me and have a conversation with me, not an appointment setter, not some AI chatbot, and see if this is actually going to be a good fit for you. Anyway, that's all I got to say. It's a beautiful sunny day here. This car is cooking hot now, and I'm going to get out and go in the gym and try and do a bit of a workout. And I hope to hear from you. Take care.